What's up, guys? So I know you probably came here to see the deadlift video, and this is the deadlift video. It's sort of towards the end, so if you really want to skip ahead, go ahead. But I do want to take a chance to talk about something that the stuff that you'll see at the end of the video after the deadlift clip. All that stuff that I say there is still true. It's just that at the time, I wasn't prepared, or I didn't think I was going to, share this with you guys, because it's a little bit more personal. But right now, about a day after, I figured that it's something that I should talk about. But anyway, I wanted to talk about basically how emotional I get when I lift sometimes. You won't see it that frequently, but definitely like when I'm going for a top set on, especially on deadlifts where I'm really comfortable, like I talked about at the end of the video, like I'm really comfortable with my technique, so I allow myself to get there. But it's not just because I feel like that level of intensity and emotion and anger even, it's not that I feel like that's just super helpful for making me move more weight. It might be, and in a lot of cases it probably is, but it's honestly, like on the other end, it's not really a good thing, because it's something that I feel like I almost have to do. Like I need my deadlift, I need this PR as some sort of outlet or some sort of release for me. I'm just like anybody else. I have shit that happens in my life that isn't always like the best, or sometimes things are bad, and just like anybody else, I get upset, I get angry, I get sad, I get whatever. But the thing is that I have this tendency to only outwardly express my positive emotions. And I mean, on one hand, it's nice because it allows me to really enjoy the time that I spend with the people around me, because I'm never like really that upset when I'm around them. But on the other hand, it's also kind of bad because, as you can kind of tell probably, these negative emotions, or all this negativity, kind of just builds up over time. The anger, the frustration, rage even, sadness, whatever it is, whatever is like weighing on my mind or my heart, if you will, whatever it is, it builds up over time, and I let it sit. It's not one of those things where I want you to think I'm like insane or I am like depressed all the time or anything like that, because it's not. Like generally I am a pretty happy person, I think, but there's always these things like in the back of my mind, or maybe like way back there, that I don't even think about most of the time, but I know that they're there and that when the time comes for me to lift a heavy weight, I bring all of that back to the surface. I bring all of it back, and you can see, I'm gonna try to include the entire clip here so you can see me going through that process of preparing for my deadlift, preparing for that top set specifically. You can see I literally get to this point where I block everything else out, and I just allow myself all that emotion to come back to the surface, and when the time comes for me to initiate that first step, I just let it all out. And although like this has to this point been a very effective way for me to kind of cope, or to I don't know, let out all that emotion, I don't think that it's a good thing. I don't think it's healthy for me to just hold on to that kind of stuff. I think that it's almost I don't know, it's not that effective. It's almost like immature for me to rely on lifting for that sort of release, or that outlet. I think were I a better person, I might be able to deal with these things on my own without the lifting, and not rely on my deadlift or my PRs for that outlet. And I think it's almost a little bit embarrassing that I do. I know that in the context of lifting, when you guys see me do this kind of stuff, you're probably thinking that like it's cool that I can get to that level of intensity, that I can use my anger productively or whatever. And yeah, it probably does make me stronger. It probably does make me more effective at lifting weight, but I don't think that it's necessarily the best thing for me as a human being to have shit like that just builds up over time, and then I release it. Because what happens if, like, what would happen if I missed my number that day? Like, going into the gym that day, I knew that things were building up. I knew that I didn't feel good. I knew that, like, in my mind, I almost felt like I needed that PR. If I didn't get that PR, I honestly don't know, and I mean technically I kind of didn't, but if I didn't hit that number, I don't know how much worse I would have felt. I don't know how I would have dealt with that. And I don't think that's, because there's that uncertainty around lifting and my performance in the gym, I don't think that's a very effective way for me to handle things like this. And that can't be the way that I handle them all the time. So I am kind of attached to the whole idea or the habit of using my emotions when I lift, and I probably always will use my emotions in lifting and training and competing. But on the other hand, for the sake of my own well-being, I really need to work on this and really need to figure out a way where I don't let things bother me that much. I don't hold on to things to that extent. I need to find another outlet. I need to find a healthier way to deal with all this kind of stuff. And you know, perhaps it's not the greatest thing for me to be admitting this to all you guys, because I know some of you might look up to me, or some of you guys might think less of me because of it, but at the end of the day, like I said, everybody goes through shit. And if you look at my life, especially in these vlogs, you probably see it like, I don't know, almost like a highlight reel or something. And I promise you my life is not perfect. It's just that, again, the way I outwardly express myself is usually all the positive stuff. Same deal when I'm filming. You generally will not see me film, or you generally will not see me in public or in real life being upset very often. Only the people that are very close to me see that side of me. And you know, maybe if I were stronger or more confident or more vulnerable or something, I'd be able to handle exposing that side of myself to other people, not just the people that are super close to me. Because I do think another bad part about all of this is that it does get very tiresome for the people around me. But that's basically all I wanted to say. I think I'll let you guys watch the rest of the video as it is, and I don't know, I guess enjoy the clip, and thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Get it up! Get it up!
That's too easy.
Come on, one more. Big three.
Go! Pull it!
Finish! There you go. Sleep tag.
I was getting ready to get up in case you toppled over.
Thanks, man.
Did I finish it?
I think first rep was clean. Second would have been red lighted for downward motion on my right side as the ball was coming out of my hand. Third rep, very questionable. Probably not full lockout though. And I mean, I talked to you guys before about the whole thing with the plates where, because they're so far out from center, a lot of you guys are saying like it's like cheating because it's so far out that the bar flexes a lot. It's true, but as you can tell, I'm usually pretty fast off the floor. If anything, I need help at the top. The biggest thing for me right now is that when I get to the top, like past my knee, because the weights are so far out, they start resonating, like bouncing really hard. And when they start resonating like that, it's super hard for me to hold my balance. So I might have to take my grip out a little bit more or figure something out, but I mean, in competition, it wouldn't be that bad because the plates are so thin. But gotta work on it. There's a lot of work to be done before I test. So I want to talk about something for a little bit, because I know that people are either gonna ask about it or make fun of me for it, because I'm sure you guys have noticed by now that, especially when I deadlift, excuse the mess in my room back there on either side, but I'm sure you guys have noticed before that when I deadlift, especially for like a heavy PR or something like that, I get super fired up. Like I make myself very emotional and excited, and maybe even angry sometimes. And I think that there's an important distinction to make though, that you notice that I don't do that as much, if at all, for like my bench or my squat, and it's not because I don't think that I need to, or it's not because, you know, it's less important to me. Really the reason is because with my bench and my squat, they haven't until fairly recently been in a place where I was confident with my technique. So it's a little bit harder. Like I realistically can't put 100% of my intensity into just like amping myself up. I have to focus a lot on like technical cues, even when I'm working up to a top single or a top number on either my bench or my squat. Whereas with my deadlift, because I'm so comfortable with my technique, like again, it's not perfect, it's nowhere close, and it still needs work, but it is by far, in terms of my mechanics, it's my best lift, and it's consistently my best lift. So it's the one lift that I have enough confidence on that I know my technique, even on a bad day, is still going to be fairly good. So I'm comfortable taking myself to that level of excitement or emotion, that fire, that passion, whatever you want to call it. I'm comfortable taking myself there, and I know that if I can combine like good technique with that sort of intensity, that's going to give me 100% of what I'm capable of with my deadlift, which is also why I very strongly believe that currently the reason why my squat and my bench are so like awful compared to my deadlift isn't necessarily because I don't have the amount of force production, or I can't produce that amount of force in my bench and my squat. A lot of it is leverage, obviously, a lot of it is strength, but a very large reason is just I don't have that sort of technical, I don't have that sort of confidence in my technique yet that I can comfortably make myself that excited for a rep, that I can take advantage of that sort of adrenaline, and that sort of, I don't know, emotion, I guess. And the big thing, guys, is that a lot of lifters, they like to get really excited, and that's, I'm sure you've tried it before, where if you get like, I don't know, if you use like nose torque, or if you have your friends slap you on the back before you lift or something like that, it's very effective at making you excited, but you just have to be careful that you don't let that excitement or that emotion get you past the point where you can't perform the lift well anymore. Because technique, at the end of the day, is probably more important than how excited you get. If you get excited to the point that you can't maintain good technique and you become less and less efficient, you end up in a poor position, you're probably not going to get that rep anyway. And I honestly would say that that might be where I was today. If you look at the footage, especially on that second rep, I probably should have reset my grip before I went for that. I didn't, because I was a little bit frantic, and as the bar kind of slipped out of my pronated hand, I couldn't finish that rep completely. I mean, part of it was that, you know, like I said, the bar resonates, or it sort of bounces up and down as it gets past my knee. So it's like, it makes it easier for it to slip out of my hand. But anyway, once it got past my knee, it's like my bar was already slipping out of my right hand. And I knew that, like, if I had come all the way up to the top and locked it out like I should, in a smooth motion, I probably would have lost it out of my right hand. If I lost it out of either of my hands, I probably wouldn't be able to finish the set after that. So I came down with that second rep, reset for the third. I got the third. I mean, like, the third, it wasn't the cleanest rep either, but at the very least, I think that I completed full range of motion there. But yeah, I guess the point I wanted to make is just that emotion and excitement and adrenaline, it can be very useful on the platform or in the gym, but you have to know sort of where to draw that line. Like, you don't want to get so excited and so emotional that you can't perform the lift well anymore. And it's hard to find that balance, but yeah, that's about it. I can't talk very well or speak very well right now because my head's kind of all, I don't know, cloudy.